Okay, now today I'm going to show you how to use the new BigBlueButton webinar. Here you see a screenshot of me teaching a class for a B1 exam, and as you can see, this is the layout. So I have uploaded a PDF, and this PDF is visible to everyone. And you can add your camera if you want, but there's no need for this because it's a listening exam. And unlike Zoom, you do not have to screen share in order to see this PDF. This PDF has been uploaded into the structure of the platform, and I'll show you how to do that. And once it's uploaded, we can use these annotating tools. Both the teacher and the students can use the tools, and you can also record the lesson if you have the Moodle School platform. The Moodlecloud doesn't have this. What I mean by this is there is an actual price difference, and as you can see, if you have the mini Moodle School for €150 a year, you can record your sessions, and I'll show you how that's done. Otherwise, just for €4 a month, you can have 50 students and it costs you €50 a year. So let's get back to this. Here I'm doing a listening, so I'm using the VLC player for my audio, and that remains on the top of the screen. And when you're doing a listening, you need a good microphone and a good speaker. Finally, we'll look at the instant polling. This is the main reason why it's good for exams, because unlike Zoom, where you have to create every poll you want to do, in this platform you simply click on the button, start poll, and you have a choice: yes, no, true, false, ABC, etc. I often use this when I want to check if everyone can hear me. I do a poll, yes, no, can you hear me? And I get instant response. So that's why this platform, above all, is the best for teaching exams. So here are the steps we're going to do. I'm going to start a BigBlueButton session through the Moodle. So it's always best if you use it through Moodlecloud, or maybe you work at a school where they have BigBlueButton integrated. All webinars are very expensive to use, and I found you're going to have to pay anyway. The BigBlueButton is the best. So we're going to upload the PDF, and I'll show you how to do that. You have to choose 1 to 15 pages, and the best way to do that is to use the Adobe PDF printer. So you actually print off 15 pages into a PDF. That's the best way to split the pages. Next, we'll look at the annotating tools, and as you can see here, they've got lots of colors. You can make squares, you can write a text, etc., and you can delete them in a bin. Thirdly, I'll show you the recording lesson, and like I said, it's not with the free trial or the starter, but with the mini school, and it will automatically save it for you for 7 days. So students who weren't able to join the lesson can see the lesson the next day. Great tool. Number 4, I'll show you how I use the VLC player and the fact that you will need a good microphone and a good speaker, and it works really well. So you can do some listening exams. And finally, the most important thing is the instant poll. In 1 second, you can have them deciding ABC. It's great. You can't do that with any other platform. So finally, the breakout rooms, I'm not a big fan of, but they do exist. The problem is you can only visit one breakout room as a teacher. The other students could be talking about anything you don't know. It's a waste of time. Unless it's a meeting where they have to feed back what they discussed, then that's fine. But otherwise, I find them quite a bit of a waste of time, really, for this online session. So let's begin. Here's my account, Tefl-Dude 1, and we're going to set up a BigBlueButton webinar session for today. And as I click in the course, my 2 students are waiting. The good thing about the BigBlueButton on Moodle is that my participants are only those I have enrolled onto this course, and they can join every week at a specific time that we decide. I don't have to send them an email every 5 minutes with a new link. They just join the classroom at the specific time. And I can enroll or unenroll users. As you can see here, I can see Andrew Hotmail joined 9 minutes ago, Andrew iCloud joined 9 minutes ago, and I, the teacher, joined 11 seconds ago. So it's a great way, it's totally secure, unlike Zoom. And here I'm going to have a lesson. Now, in order to make another BigBlueButton session, I turn the editing on. I click Add an Activity. And here you can see you can add all of these activities and all of these resources. Just out of interest, the only 2 I use are setting assignments and this BigBlueButton webinar I'm about to do. And also I may upload a file, a PDF file that they have to read. So here, let's add the BigBlueButton. So I just typed in, it's B1 listening 1. And the next thing you have to do is schedule the session. So I'll enable it right this moment. But obviously you can enable it for the future. Now, the last time anyone can join is in 1 hour's time. However, the lesson can go on for 2, 3, 4 hours. It's just that people cannot join at this time. So if they break down or they need to join again, they won't be able to do it after this 1 hour. Let's save and return. And we do this first. We do not send a notification because an error happens. You have to make the lesson first. So there's my lesson. Once I've made it, now I can go back and edit and simply send a notification. And it will send this notification to those people. You might hear a ping in a minute as my emails go off. So I'll save and return. There you heard a ping on my watch. That was an email coming in saying this lesson is available at this time, and it gives information to the people. Obviously you can write to them in this notification setting. You can put some information here for them, and that will be sent with the notification. Let's go back. We'll turn editing off. And now I'm going to join the lesson. I usually put the lesson 15 minutes before the lesson in order to set up the PDF, etc. So I'm now going to join. The room is ready. You'll notice this tab is the Moodle tab. When I click, we'll join the BigBlueButton tab area. So a new tab is created, and this is because BigBlueButton belongs to Blindside Networks. Remember to click microphone, yes, and you will have to choose your microphone. I've got a number of them. I'll choose Yeti, and then you have to reaffirm it. 1, 2. That's the echo.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
At the moment, I'm the only person. On my iPad, I'm going to join. Okay, so my iPad, he's going to join the session. And I should see him arriving. There he is, Andrew iCloud. So I'll put on the microphone. Although that'd probably be a bad idea at the moment because we'll get feedback. Now I'll just bring another person in to join the lesson, and he's going to click now. And once again, allow the microphone. Which I'm then... I've decided to mute that one as well. Okay, so I have my two students, and there's me, and we all seem to have the same looking page. Now I need to upload a PDF. So before that, I usually go to a clean page and I turn on this multi-whiteboard user, and that means I can write hi to the students. Well, I click on the hand, use the tool, hi, and they too can, well, they can choose a different color, and they also can say hi. And the same with this one. Okay, so that's just showing you some of the tools that we can use, and I give the students a little time to try and make squares and write things here. Obviously you can make boxes, etc., and change the color and the size of the pen. And you can also delete what you wrote yourself. Now I'm going to upload a PDF. In order to do this, remember, it shouldn't be more than, let's say, 12 or 15 pages. So what I'm going to do is, I have a book here, a very old book, and I don't want to upload a PDF of 160 pages. So the best thing to do is, I want this listening, which says page 18 at the bottom, to do all the listenings to page 24. But notice that it says page 24 here, whereas in fact, if you look at the top corner, while it says page 24 there, it is in fact page 25. So what I want to do is go from page 19 on here, not 18, 19 to 25. So in order to extract those pages, you can simply click File, Print, and on your printer choose the Adobe printer or whatever PDF printer you have, and then choose the pages, which were 19 to 25. Now, just quickly, I would go to the properties and make sure you change from standard to high quality. So that's useful. So now I've got my pages, I'm going to print them, and here there's a pop-up saying, okay, where do you want to save this? So I'll just save it on the desktop. That's fine. So I'll just note it that it's listening 1. And there you can see I have 1 of 7. It still remembers it's number 19, but it is 1 of 7. So I only have 7 pages here. And there they are. I can close this out now. I don't need it. And what I'm going to do is to upload this file here. So I click on Actions. Remember, I can upload an external YouTube video. I'll show you that later. But I'm going to upload a presentation. Here you drag the file or just look for it. So I'm going to look for that file, and on my desktop, there it is. Open. Now before I upload, I have a choice. If I click this, I will allow the presentation to be downloaded by the students. If I don't want them to download it, I just leave that blank. But maybe I don't care. I'll allow them to download it. So I'll upload this. And obviously it takes a bit of time, but it would take a lot longer if you were trying to do 100 pages, which is why you should stick to around 5 to 10 pages. Now when preparing, you can put a number of documents here in advance and then jump between them. So you can have a list of documents here ready to be looked at because you would have already uploaded them. This is why you need to join the session 5 minutes or 10 minutes before your lesson. Okay, so here's our slides, and then there's the next page. And as you can see, all the students are able to see it. If some of them say they can't see it, you can always click back a slide and click forward again. Or here you can change what they see, the size of the thing they see. And remind your students that they can even make it full screen. But you'll notice if I make mine full screen, theirs isn't. They have to do that themselves. So at the moment I've made it this wide because I want to focus on this first listening here. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give them a listening, but before that, remember I can add my camera if I want to, but there's no real purpose to it. Here's my camera. I'm going to allow. And I start sharing. Allow again. And there's my face. And now the students in a short while will be able to see me if they want to, if they feel. Now I can move this into the screen, but with other people they would have to move it in themselves. So like the iPad, they could move it in here, but nothing happens. So, and the same with this. So nothing happens there. So there's no real point having a bunch of faces to talk to each other. It might be useful, but generally I don't use the camera. It's a waste of bandwidth as well. So I'm going to turn that off. The page becomes bigger. I can alter the size here by moving this around. That sometimes helps, making it wider. And obviously you can zoom in to focus on something. So I usually keep it like this. And what we'll do for this listening, I can highlight certain words that I want them to focus on. So for instance, which activity will the family do this year? Okay, so what are they going to do this year? Not next year, not last year, but this year. Obviously, they might need to use or know vocabulary like boating or yachting. So maybe they need certain language you can write on here for them. Cycling, or another word for walking in the hills is hiking. And if they hear that, they might not know what it is. So then we're going to do a listening now. And then I'm going to get them to do a poll. I'll just remind you and the students that if they want to download, they can click on this icon here and download the original presentation. So now I go to my listening.
Which activity will the family do?
Okay, so now we're on the listening. Sometimes, because it's VLC player, it might come like this and
1.
block your vision, but you can just go to the corner and make it nice and narrow and stick it here. And as I said before, if you have this note, you'll notice that I can, once I've clicked that, I have this icon, which means I can actually keep this on the top. So now if I click here, it disappears. But when I click Control Space, now I click here and it remains there. So I'm constantly in control of the audio. And if I was to move the page up and down, the audio remains on the top. So that's very useful. So that is useful. I guess that's kind of part 4, using the VLC player, using the auto hotkey. Check out my video about adding audio to PDFs. There is a part at 10 minutes or 11 minutes about how to use this auto hotkey. So here I am doing the listening, and after the listening I give them a choice. So let's say we've listened to it, and another thing I want to talk about with listening is make sure that you have a good microphone and a good speaker. Now I tend to use this Blue Yeti mic, and one of the reasons I use it is that it has a direction function. What I mean by this is you can have it bidirectional, so on one side and another, or cardioed mode. So cardio means it's only taking in the voice at the front. And when I do the listenings, I usually put my speaker on the other side so that they can hear me and the speaker. And the kind of speaker I use is a Logitech speaker. Make sure you have a speaker with a good sound, because on a laptop, both your microphone and your speaker will be just not very good. So invest in something like this if you're going to be seriously doing online teaching involving listening. Okay, so let's do the first listening.
What will the family do this year?
We're going to try an activity holiday this year, but
And they talk, blah, blah, blah. So what you need to do is decide, is it A, B or C? So I'm going to start a quick poll. The choice is A, B or C. I click A, B, C. And as you can see on their respective devices, they have a choice. Now, the iPad, they're going to select B. And on the Surface, he's going to select A. Now I can see who has chosen A, who has chosen B, and I can take a screenshot of this in order for my records to know how good the students are. Now to do a screenshot, you simply click the Windows key and the print screen key, like this. See it flash? I just took a shot of that, and that is now in my screenshot folder, and later when I'm trying to analyze who is good at listening, who should go for the exam, I have all the information I need. The students, as you can see, cannot see their answers or who answered correctly. But if I click Publish Polling Results, I've published the results, but for some reason they always turn on the bottom of the page, so I have to lift up the page for them to see it. And there they can see 50% of them chose A, 50% chose B. Once again, they don't know who chose A or B, but I do. And if I wish to comment, I can say those who chose A, well, you need to realize that this is the wrong answer and why, etc. Now to clear this, I just simply click the bin icon and the poll is gone. However, I don't have to constantly publish the poll. If you notice now, I'll start a poll, ABC. So we'll do one poll, This time both chose A. And then we can do another listening.
You all want to do something.
Blah, blah, blah. And I can do another poll without having to publish that one. So I'll do another ABC. And this time both of them chose B. And I can do another poll, etc. So you can see that I don't have to constantly publish. We can get on with the listening far better. However, let's just publish these. However, once I move to a new page in the document, say this is listening 2, if I try to make a poll, it won't let me because I've gone to another page, so I have to publish the results. As you can see, they're being published. Go down the page, there they are published, and I have to delete them. And because I'm on a new page, now I can make a new poll for them to do. I can make as many as I want. See, there's 1, and then we can listen to number 4, and then I'll make another poll, start another poll, do another one. And you see, I don't have to publish them. But once I've finished the page, then I have to publish them to move on to the next page. So you publish and then delete. So that's how to use the polling system. So we've covered the uploading the PDF, using the VLC player, and doing the instant poll. Also, we've looked at some of the annotating tools. Normally, we don't use them so much, but if you've only got 1 or 2 students, they can write their answers. Finally, well, not finally, because we will look at breakout rooms. In number 3, the recorded lesson. Now, looking at the recording, you can see that here I have the Moodlecloud.com, whereas here I have Moodle.school. And with Moodle.school, I can do a recording and it's saved. But with the Moodlecloud.com, I can't do that. So here is the Moodle school, and I'll just show you how I did a business advanced group. And I did a lesson here, which I recorded. And you can see here, the conference has ended, but here's the presentation. So for 7 days, it will save it. And anytime a student wants to go and look at their recording, they can simply press this button and up will pop the recording. So as you can see here, the video doesn't look anything like what we see when we're having the lesson.
Yeah, okay. So now we're
So you can hear, you can see the cameras and you can see the picture, but you won't see the polling ideas or the list of names of who's present or anything. It's just a recording of the lesson. Okay, let's not forget that unlike other platforms, here we can actually see the information here, and we can even write messages to each other, and I get those messages as well, and so we can write to each other, but you can also write to each other privately. So I could write here, start a private chat. So I could write privately to this person if they had a personal issue. Finally, let's look at the breakout rooms that we can use. So you can have breakout rooms. You can write closed captions as well. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of them. However, I will create them. So let's have, you need 2 breakout rooms minimum. So I'll put the iCloud and the Hotmail in 1. And I won't put anyone in number 2. I'll just see what happens. Create. They're given 15 minutes. and they're told to join the room. As you can see, this person's going to join the room.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
So now they have to join again with their microphone. That's why it's a bit of a pain.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
And so here you can, I'll turn their mics off. It kind of defeats the object, me muting them. But the idea is you can see that two people are in a breakout room. I, as the teacher, can actually visit one of these breakout rooms. So if I click on this, I can end all breakout rooms, or I can join one. So I know that Andrew Hotmail and Andrew iCloud are in this room, so I'll join that room, or I could join the audio. So if I join the room, Firefox prevented this opening a pop-up. Okay. Don't know why that is, but let's see if I can join the room. Okay. I just clicked on it again. I'll join with my microphone, which I'll mute. 1, 2. So that's just to show you.
You are now muted.
And if you look at the tabs on the top, this is Breakout Room 1 and the big blue button is over here. And none of us are present here because we've exited and gone into another room. That's how all breakout rooms work, even on Zoom. But they work quite quickly here. So I can leave this breakout room, and the way to leave it is you just click on the X. So I'm just going to click on the X and I can end all breakout rooms. So you can see we're already in the room, 3 of us. So I'll just end the breakout rooms. And then everyone will have to rejoin with their microphone, although I'll just click listening only for now. And I'll put on my microphone, join the audio. See, that's the problem with breakout rooms, is that you're kind of taken to another tab. Okay, you see I've ended the breakout rooms. So they've got their headphones, I've got my microphone available. That means they can't speak, they can only listen. If they want to speak, they would have to join again. So what they'd have to do is close this out and join again from the join session. So at the moment, there's this small tab here. I can put the public chat, make that larger again. If I take away the public chat, it's like this. So that's the new big blue button. So as you can see, we uploaded a PDF, showed you the annotating tools, recorded the lesson, used the VLC, instant polls, which is the best, and used breakout rooms. Before we go, just to remind you that once we move to another slide, the information on the other slide will always be there. So if I was to draw like a square, what will they do this year? Which is the woman's house, things like that. And then I move to the next slide. The information on the other slide will always be there. So if I click back, you can see it hasn't moved. So it's really good for reading articles and things where maybe the article is on the next page. You want to read, highlight. Whereas Zoom, it just highlights onto the screen share, which isn't really any good because as you move the screen, the annotations don't go with it. Plus, we can all join in with the tools, as you can see. Everyone has their own name and they can write and draw, etc. One more thing I can do, I can upload a video here, paste the video, share the new video. So as you can see, I can show them a YouTube video from my YouTube account to help them understand what I was talking about before. I think it was at 10 minutes.
Today
here.
did this and paid for on the iPad. So you simply go to this website.
So everyone can see the instructions I'm trying to give from YouTube. The audio is quite good with that. And once again, you simply stop sharing the video and you're back to the screen. So remember, everyone has to log out, end the meeting, and that will end the meeting. And before you go, you can say goodbye, you can send messages, you have shared notes, you have a lot of things, but the main takeaway from this is that you have polling ability. And also, here you can write an essay if you wanted to. Here you can put in essays, as you can see here, for this group. My business group, I put in the Moodle instructions, and so that's the end of today's lesson. There's so much more you can do with this. It's great for exams, especially with polling. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's just log out first. I will end the meeting, and that way this meeting will disconnect everyone. As you can see, I'm in total control of the meeting. And once I go back, there it is ended. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe and give it a like.